Good morning everybody and welcome to my channel. This is Gauteng and this is ThroughEllesEyes. This specific entry I am very excited about because it has to do with the book club that I started at the beginning of the year. One of the themes that we selected as a group was that of spirituality, and we chose it for the month of April, and we're very excited that we came across a South African author who then delivered that book. Her name is Nobuntu Webster, and I'm here at Zuko's Cafe at number 5 Beacon Street at the Maboning precinct. It's in New Doornfontein, so it's in downtown Jersey. So we're here to talk about her journey in writing the book and how she found the whole process. For me, I just think that this is great in the sense that I went out there. The power of social media really works. I took a leap of faith. I contacted her via a social media platform and she was more than keen to meet up with me. So we're about to fulfill that today right here, and I can't wait to unpack what she has for fellow aspiring writers and just South Africans who want to understand what her journey in writing Perfect Mess, Perfect Grace was like. So I'll check you out on the flip side, and I hope that you enjoy the interview. Thank you very much for availing yourself to meet up with me.
Most welcome.
I took a leap of faith by inboxing you and then I saw that you read it and I'm like, she's not responding. And then when you finally did, I was dancing for days, jumping on the bed, showing everybody who could keep the secrets. It's like, look, she's serious. So I'm very excited that you gave an opportunity to a South African blogger, even though the South African space is not really familiar with the idea of blogging, that you said, okay, let's give it a go. And we are here today. So guys, just to give you an idea of who Nobuntu is, her bio on her book Perfect Mess, Perfect Grace is that she's a businesswoman, an author, television and radio host, a speaker. It's a whole lot, and I like that you kind of take it all, but I think you pace yourself as well because you know what you can reach and when is the right time to do certain things. But please tell us who Nobuntu is.
Sure. Nobuntu is a woman on a journey, hey? So the biggest thing about me is that I'm on a purpose journey, and I have been for a while. So one of the most important things to me is finding and living out my purpose. So in all the things that I've done, they've always been what I believe was my purpose at the time. And you know what? A lot of the time it turns out, okay, not really, but everything is part of a journey towards your destiny or towards a bigger picture. I always say that there's no experience that isn't a waste. And so how I describe the purpose journey is that there's a layer like an onion that keeps getting peeled off every time with every single experience that you have. And so that's who I am. In a nutshell, I'm a woman who is pursuing purpose in everything that I do. And I think that one of the biggest discoveries about my purpose, and when I look at my life, how I've been raised, who I am in terms of my personality and the gifts that I have, really, I'd say my purpose is story. My purpose is in restoring through story. And so now, everything that I'm about is stories. So, in my writing, in publishing, in my speaking, in any ventures that I'm involved with, in the film and television industry, all of that, it is about story with a purpose. So that's who I am. I am a mom. I love being a mom. I've got 2 boys. I'm a wife, so I'm a family woman, and actually I'm really, really privileged that I get to have a life where I can put my family first, and that my life has been set up in such a way that I get to put my family first. Yeah, so that's who I am.
Okay, that's lovely. You mentioned purpose, and we struggle so much as young women to actually come to that point where we realize the potency that we have. And it's innate, it's just waiting for us to unleash it. When did you figure it out? Because we come across so many challenges and obstacles in the journey of becoming that we kind of downplay our strengths, we kind of downplay our talents. but when did you discover your purpose, and was it a lifelong journey? If you get what I'm saying.
It's a lifelong journey. I even think, even now, it's going to keep revealing itself in different ways in my life. One thing that I've learned is that we're boxed, and we box ourselves. So growing up, I was a really smart kid. I was smart, I was always a leader. I always shone in a lot of things, sports, cultural activities, that kind of thing. And so because of that, it's easy to then be directed in a certain way, or for your life to start going in a certain trajectory. When I finished matric, I did well, I got 5 A's. And so my parents said, you can do whatever you want to do. But society said, and I wanted to study media. So there was a course at university, I think it was called Media and Social Studies or something. And that's what I wanted to do. And my parents were like, cool, let's go. But the world around me said, 5 A's, like you're so smart, why would you study media? What are you going to do with that?
Why would you be a humanities student?
Why would you be a humanities student? It was literally like, why would you do a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Social Science when you're so smart?
Yeah.
And so I ended up in accounting.
Did you love it?
I hated. And so I was capable, more than capable, but I didn't like it, and my grades started to show because I was bored out of my skull, and I really didn't like it. And so that is the thing. The thing is that we get boxed and we box ourselves. And so instead of pursuing purpose, and purpose comes so naturally to you, the kind of stuff that you do without thinking, the kind of stuff that gives you joy, the kind of stuff that comes so naturally to you, that is genuinely where your purpose is.
Yeah.
And so the world kind of boxes us and we box ourselves based on what it is that we believe we should be doing, you know. And so the journey for purpose for me has been about getting out of the boxes.
That's wonderful.
It's been
That's
about
actually
getting out of the
powerful.
boxes. It's been about slamming the boxes and saying, okay, this is where I'm at now. This is the career I'm at now, but who am I really? And what am I about? And about being able to navigate around what I already have and what I've already built, and building that into what I work with now as a career and as purpose.
In order for you to kind of go through the obstacles that you've experienced, what kind of support did you have? Because you mentioned your parents who say, you can do anything you want, but then society comes back to say, oh hell no, why would you waste your brain? Your brain matter just like that. What kind of support did you have?
So my parents are very supportive. They've always been supportive. Sure, my parents have believed in us. I think maybe before we gave them anything to go on. My parents took us to private schools when they actually couldn't afford it. Because back then, there was no such thing as model schools. When I got into school, it was 1989. And my parents took us to white private schools where you're literally the only white kid in the class. And not because they were rich, not because they were even middle class, they were working class parents, but because they believed in us. So they've always believed in us. And without realizing it and without saying it, they've always made us believe that we can be whatever we want to be. And that's not even in a be whatever you want to be so that you're the greatest thing in the world. Be whatever you want to be so that you are happy and that you live a fulfilling life. That is what my parents have given us. Me and my two brothers, the three of us, we're not in traditional careers. And I think that has a lot to do with my parents. My husband is very supportive. He's the reason I've gone into a lot of the things that I've gone into. He has backed me up. He has supported me financially. He has supported me emotionally. He has supported me spiritually in every single way. He's very supportive. He's totally believed in me. And in everything that I say I'm going to do. He's believed in me when I don't believe in myself. So he's seen stuff when I don't see it. You know, he for the past, ever since he met me, we'll have conversations and I'll be like, oh, because creatives are, and he's like, no, but you're a creative. I'm like, no, I'm not. The box thing. I'm a strategist. And he's like, no, you're a creative. You are creative. Don't take that out of who you are. And it took me the longest time to then turn around and be like, oh my gosh, I'm a creative. creative as well, you know. And so that's been the amazing support that I've had. I come from a family that supports me, and I've been fortunate enough to marry somebody who supports me.
That's superb, because that's why I went into vlogging as well. Well, how I got into it, because you know, we seek validation, but not literally or purpose intentionally. That's the word I'm looking for. It's because we often want people to put a stamp on ideas that we have, and if they're cool with it, then we go into it. I said I want to vlog, and he was like, why? And then he had to lead me to a place where I validate myself, to say, because I'm good at it. And he said, okay, let's get into it. So I'm actually quite happy that you got a life partner or a confidant. Even a confidant in the sense of the word is mostly females, but somebody who then supports your ideas and your visions and makes you see the bigger picture. I love that.
Very blessed.
That's awesome. Which brings me to my next question. How do you find your journey, and what inspired you to go into the space of being a writer and author?
Sure. Never on my bucket list, ever. Although I've always been writing, actually, now that I think about it, but it's never been in my bucket list. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in grade 7, standard 5, so it's the end of the year, and everybody's going off to high school, and then our teacher was going around the room. She started off with one person who was like, oh, so what do you think I'll become when I'm older? And then she said, I don't know, whatever that person is, she thought that person was going to become. And then somebody else was like, oh, what do you think I'll become? So then she started going around the whole classroom. She got to me, and she said, you are going to be an amazing writer. I was so disappointed.
Why?
I was waiting for how a businesswoman, president, you know, and I was just like, writer. And I think she even said author. And I remember that last year, when I was releasing my book, I was like, oh my gosh, this is Davis.
Spoken into being.
Did speak about this. And obviously she saw it even back then. You know, she saw that in me, that I was a writer. So how I got into writing, over the past 4 or 5 years, I have had a real sense that I should be writing. I felt like God was stirring me towards writing. And I did start at some point. But when I read it, I was like, I wouldn't want to read this. Because what I was writing, although I don't think the book was out then, but I was writing something similar to Oprah's What I Know For Sure.
Yes.
I was writing something like that. And I was like, this sounds so preachy, this is so boring. I don't want to write this. And then there was a time where I was working with one of the leading production houses in the country, and I was in the story room of one of the leading telenovelas in the country, and contributing to that, and you know, just being part of the story formation process, the story development process. And all of a sudden, it was rebirthed in me, and I remembered, I was like, I'm a storyteller. And while I was there, I started writing this story. And I started blogging it. Blog a chapter every 2 weeks, or a chapter, you know, every 3 weeks. And the response I was getting was encouraging. But even before the response, I'd read it and I'd be like, I like how it's playing out. I like how it's playing out. But more than anything, other than speaking, which makes me feel so alive, being on a stage and speaking, being behind a microphone and speaking, being in front of a camera and speaking, makes me feel alive. Nothing made me feel more alive than the time that I was writing. When I'd get into this little box, you know, it's like I'm in my own little box, I closed everybody out, and I'm just writing in a faraway place. I loved how it felt to write, I loved what it did for me. And so then I carried on. And then in April last year, I was actually away on holiday. I decided, okay, this is going to be a book.
Wow.
And I carried on. And here we are.
When was it released?
September.
Oh my word. The timelines were actually quite tight, but you already had something.
I already had something. So I had about 7 chapters, but I kind of had to redo them because now it's going to be a book.
Yeah.
And then I carried on up to 16 chapters. And it took about 4 months. 3 months. It took about 3 to 4 months after I decided, okay, this is going to be a book.
And how did you find the process? I mean, it's not easy writing a book, but how did you find the process of having to write and then be like, maybe let's try something else?
So when I was writing, I only went back to change what had been in the first 7 chapters. Actually, I think it was 5. First 5 to 6 chapters, which were written. The rest of it, I never really ever changed the content. So I changed the flow and I edited and the grammar and whatever, but I never really changed the content. So that wasn't the hardest part for me. The hardest part for me, because I write in first person.
Yes.
Oh well, I did in that book. I'm still not sure about the second book that I'm on now. But because I was writing in first person, the hardest part was living in this girl's head, and body and life and everything. That was fun in the beginning, but it got really draining towards the end. And by the end, I was just like, I'm tired of being this girl. Actually, I'm tired of being this girl. I need to get out of it. That was hard. That's what I found.
So you were just like an actress who you need to embody yourself and immerse yourself in a certain character's life, and you need to understand their thinking, their mannerisms, even though, I mean, you can't tell in the book. It's in written format, but
absolutely, their mannerisms, everything.
Yes.
Even the other characters in the book, you have to know this is what the mom would say.
Yes.
Because this is her backstory.
Oh,
so now you've got to, you're writing and you're getting characters that are coming in as you write, but you have to have a backstory for that. And you have to start thinking, okay, why is she like this though? Even if you don't bring it into your book, you just know that, okay, this is her backstory, this is how she grew up, this is why she's like this.
yes.
I loved it, but it was also hard. Yeah, it was a lot of work.
So tell us more about Perfect Miss, Perfect Grace.
So Perfect Miss, Perfect Grace is about a 19-year-old girl.
Yes.
She has had a pretty
Perfect life.
pretty perfect. Nothing hectic has happened.
Yes.
It's been lovely. She's free spirits, and yeah, she's got parents who are pretty, how would I call them?
Reputable. I mean, in the
They're
community.
reputable in the community.
Yes,
They're
upstanding
reputable in the church,
citizens.
they're upstanding citizens. And life looks pretty much perfect to everybody else.
Yes.
And that's how she's grown up. She's got 2 brothers who love her and adore her and protect her, and so she's had this pretty perfect life. Only to find that, hey, it's not so perfect. And she then goes through a journey of discovering that her perfect life is not so perfect, which then puts into question her own identity. So, if my life is not perfect, then who am I actually? You know? And she only starts to see this as she's faced with certain situations in her own life where she has to make decisions and when she has to relate with others, and she starts to realize that actually her identities, the foundation of her identity is on quite shaky ground because she hasn't really found her identity for herself. She's just been living in the identity of her own family, you know. She's been basing it off that, so she doesn't really know who she is. She's already chosen and discovered who she is for herself. She hasn't chosen anything around her actually. And she then, when she has to choose a relationship, when she has to make decisions for her life, she gets herself in some nasty situations.
And she's always at the crossroads.
Always at the crossroads. The story is told in quite a fast-paced way. So it's a novella.
Yes.
It literally, in terms of the word count, literally just made it a novel. So it is a novel, but it's written in a novella style. It's every chapter. At the end of every chapter, you kind of want to be like
Cliffhanger.
What's going to happen in the next chapter? So there's a cliffhanger literally at the end of every chapter.
I finished the book in one sitting, and that's what a lot of people.
Most people do.
We were like, no, guys, this can't be. No, she really needed to write a whole lot more.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I understand the basis of you writing it the way that you did, because as a customer, and then I buy it, I'm like, but guys, it can't have ended like that. And why are the chapters so short?
Yeah.
But now that you've explained it, it makes perfect sense. Pun intended. So the theme of second chances comes across a whole lot in the book. She's in a position where God grants her a second chance at making her path right. Giving other people second chances, which we find so hard. and we expect them to give us second chances, but we are quite selfish of being reciprocating in that sense.
Yeah.
What are the other themes that you intentionally kind of placed very carefully in the book that are present there?
Definitely identity. Identity is a big one because a lot of people walk around showing a picture to the world that they think is expected of them. This is how you're expected to be. This is how you're expected to be. This is who you're expected to be.
Yes.
So identity is a big one. A second one, and I think it's so significant, being this week, having had the senseless death, murder of a woman by her boyfriend, a young woman by her boyfriend, 22-year-old. Is that there is a sense, there is abuse in the book. There is her boyfriend, isn't even her boyfriend, the guy in her life is actually abusive.
Yeah.
And for me, I find it so interesting how very few people pick that up as a red flag when they review the book. How many people actually pick that up as one of the salient topics in the book? Not many people pick it up, and that scares me. That guy is abusive. That guy could kill you. He is,
because he's after his own sense of well-being. He really doesn't put other people.
Sense of some of the reactions to Zanodum, the main character. I mean, there's a time when he wants something from her, and he suddenly swerves the car and parks it, and is like, "This is what's gonna happen." He's very manipulative.
Wow.
And so it scares me that not a lot of people do that. It scares me so much.
I picked it up, but for me it was actually focusing on Zamro's journey that I didn't even look at that guy, even though I was like, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
But I think it's because a lot of women just lack the sense of security that this character would bring, because you can tell by the family that he has that he leads a very lavish life and he's got everything, and then we kind of take those factors and say, but he's coming from a well-off family, and if I'm taking care of him, why would I need to complain if he makes me take this heavy equipment, put it in the boot, and I'm pregnant?
And his family looks reputable, right? As well.
Yeah.
His father, he seems like quite a stern man, and it all looks like that.
Yeah.
And so that is another one of the themes that I think not many people pick up. We've spoken about second chances.
Yeah.
But it's also relationship. Even just between a sisterhood and between women.
Yes.
You'll find that the relationship between her and her best friend is not as open as they would have thought, because actually they're also kind of wearing masks with each other and trying to be a certain way with each other. And because of that, you then become scared to say things because you don't know that the other person is actually going through the same thing. There's something I was talking about yesterday with somebody, that there's nothing as powerful as your authentic, true story. Your way, your version, owning it, without wanting it to look polished, without wanting it to look perfect, because you have no idea what that will do for someone else, because everybody, there's nothing that's new under the sun.
Yes.
So whatever you're going through, someone else is going through. And in the relationship, they're not able to be that vulnerable with each other until it's too late. Until it's too late. And that leads you to another thing, which is secrecy.
That's a huge one.
It's a huge one. The mother is secretive. And they, as the girls, as besties, are secretive.
Yeah.
And then there was also another secret of
The dad having a child.
had a child. And the brothers, who the family had to keep these secrets. And it's all about the perfect life. And this thing of trying to show and portray the perfect life to the world. The brothers who had to then...
One was a drug addict sent overseas because he was having a gap year.
One flunked, and we have to hide all of this because we're the perfect family. And that happens in a lot of families, you know. It's so funny. My dad started reading the book, and at the book launch, the first book launch in Durban, he stands up and he says, I have to first say, I haven't read this book because I started reading it and I was like, this child is lying about me. The book is not about me, but the truth of the matter is I'm so fortunate to have been raised in a family that's so open about everything. by a mom who's so open about it. So my mom is literally the opposite of the character in the book.
Yes, the prim and proper lady is
so open. I mean, you know, when stuff happened, we'd be called into a meeting and she'd say, "This is what's going on."
Let's address it.
Whether it's finances, whether it's an issue in her relationship with my dad when we were old enough. No matter whether that was between my siblings and I, whether it's because one of us did something. I've been raised in such an open family, and I appreciate that. And I think that there's lots that we've learned and we've been able to heal and we've been able to grow from the experiences and the mistakes and the hurts that have happened in our family because I'm from a broken family. And so I thought I wanted to bring that up because I know lots of families where you have to kind of hide everything and how it's killed them.
So if granted an opportunity, because you do mention the idea that your book was written in a telenovela style, which is very fast-paced and dramatic, if you would turn your book into a movie, would you do that?
So there's something like that in the pipeline. So when I moved back to Joburg 5 years ago, I didn't quite realize, but when I got here, I knew for sure, and the picture became clearer, that one of the main things was to bring to life a childhood dream, of creating content for television and for screens. It's just only become clearer as the years have gone by over the past few years. So absolutely yes, there's something in the pipeline brewing in terms of bringing this to life, but not just this though. There are other stories and there are other ideas and things that are in the pipeline.
Yes.
You will definitely see stories from God-inspired stories from you. That's what I call them, because they transform you. I mean, they're not only captivating, but they've got to transform you, they've got to stir something deep within you.
Yes.
And so absolutely you'll be seeing stuff like that from me on your screens in the future.
That's perfect, and I love it. Please tell me about the idea that you had and the things that you've come across when you entered the space of writing, and what a lot of what the landscape then presents for young, inspiring authors, the things that we might not be privy of. You know, it's a huge industry that if you're not exposed to it and know the ins and outs, you might then experience the worst of the worst situations. How did you find it? What do you think of the South African authorship space?
So one of the things for sure is about ownership. A lot of young people want to go to publishing houses and have their books published by them, obviously because marketing and distribution, they've got, you know, a big network, they've got a wide network, and also just because they're great at what they do.
Yeah.
But what a lot of authors don't realize is how much control you lose when you do that. You lose control financially. Up to 10, you only get up to 10%, 10-15%.
After your sweat, hard work,
After your
sleepless
hard
nights.
work of the revenue on your book.
Yeah.
I know of authors who tell me that and say this is what I ultimately get at the end of the day. And you lose control of the distribution experience.
Yeah.
What do retailers, what are the experience that they have with your publishing house when they approach them for your book, and that's something you lose control over that, over where your book is actually, to a large degree as well. And so that is something I didn't want for myself. And also as a champion for African stories and African brands and us owning our stories and owning our brands and giving them to the world, I knew for a fact that I was going to own my story and I was going to have control over the packaging. So it is hard. It's difficult because you've got to pay for that. You know? You've got to take on the capital expenditure for your book, from the cover, from the editing, from the marketing, the distribution, absolutely every single part of it. So it is hard because of that. But it's absolutely worth it. And I would encourage people to join this movement of self-publishing.
So it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. You can get help. I mean, there are people I've helped so many authors who want to self-publish, just with editing and with guidance and with that type of thing as well. And then they still own their workload. I'm just there to help guide them through the process.
Just like a mentor, because we all need those people who really pay it forward, because somebody was there for us, right?
Absolutely.
And it just opens paths for you, you know, blessings, I guess. Yeah. I just also want to ask you, what's the advice that you have for young aspiring writers?
Write. Whatever it is, whether it's your story, whether it's your wisdom, whether it's your knowledge, we need it. We need to hear it. I said earlier that there's nothing more powerful than your own story, than your own perspective. It's an aha moment for someone else. It's a turning point for someone else. Nothing is new under the sun. Somebody needs to hear what you're going through because they're going through it.
Experiences are different.
They need to hear your wisdom because they need it right now. Like what's happening, they need your knowledge. So I would say, go ahead, write, get help, invest in it.
Start something.
Start something. If you have to invest in the help, invest in it and save. But own your stuff as far as you can within the value chain.
That's awesome. That's great advice because I think a lot of people are very scared of starting something. They question themselves so many times that they don't actually, the train passes them by. And then when you get to a point, even if you've lived without regrets, you'll get to a point when you look back and you're like, I have nothing to show and I've wasted my talents on earth. And that's not what we were placed here for. Tell me something. Who are your favorite African or South African authors?
So, African, I respect authors for different reasons.
Yes.
Chimamanzi Ngozi Adichie.
Yes.
I love how she has been able to capture a generation with her writing. She's used it so powerfully. She's a feminist and she's used that in her stories. You can see that in her stories. But she's found so much power in her writing and she's taken it beyond just me being an author and releasing a book to starting movements and to getting people into dialogue. I really respect that. Kopano, Mutla. I love how she writes. It's so real. You can engage with the characters. She also writes in first person.
Yes.
So remember, I love how she does that in the book Coconut.
Yes.
I could relate to a lot of that. I love her. I love there's a new rising breed of writers, self-published writers. Tutubusani is she's back. She's crazy.
Yes. People are on that train.
She has got such a wild imagination.
I love it.
I think I have a wild imagination, like it's nothing compared to Dudu. I don't know how she sleeps because sometimes my imagination keeps me up at night.
Yes.
She's a genius.
On steroids.
On steroids. I love her imagination. I love her imagination. There's a lady called Zanele Dlamini. Her book is Primaria. She's got another book now, Wounds of Warrior, I think it's called, a new book. She is a poetic writer. She writes so poetically. I am in love with her style of writing. Absolutely in love with her style of writing.
You could go on.
I love when she writes. I think it doesn't matter what she could be talking about. I can just read just because of how flowery her writing is. So yeah, those I would say are my current favorites.
What is on your bedside table right now? What are you reading?
Zakes and Dad, Black Diamond. I'm reading it for a project I'm working on. Yeah, so it's like, look, I'll be honest, it's taken me a while to get into it.
Yes.
So his style of writing is not the style that's just like grabs you immediately. But I'm now starting to enjoy it.
Gradually, you know?
Gradually, I'm getting into it. And there's always a spiritual book on my bedside lamp. And right now it's Fervent by an American author and speaker, Priscilla Shirer.
So guys, if you haven't read that, please do get those books. I think I will be getting out. I have read Black Diamond, I liked it, but there's just something about reading a book again because you find so many elements and themes that you didn't discover the first time because we mature as readers and writers as well, that you need to be at a certain point in your life to realize certain things that speak to you at that moment. So I have read it. Maybe I might just go back and visit again. My last question then is for you, if you would write an autobiography on who Nobuntu Webster is and the life and times of Nobuntu, what would the title be?
Definitely When God Writes Your Story. When God Writes Your Story. It's my mantra right now. I feel like I'm starting to see pieces coming together and things make sense. Things that didn't even make sense back then or last year. Things make sense and they come together and I'm like, okay, this is God writing a story. That's why that happened. That's why I did that. And it's all coming together and I feel like the rest of my life is going to be like that. It's just going to be me just seeing God's fingerprints
And understanding.
all over, and understanding,
Yes.
and understanding, seeing His fingerprints all over my life as He pieces together and brings together this beautiful story. Wow.
Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of our interview. Nobuntu Webster is her name, and this is her book. Go out and get it, guys. Let's support local. It's called Perfect Mess, Perfect Grace. I am sure you will love it and you will understand and get a portion out of it that relates to yourself. Get it for a young sister, get it for a brother, because we can all use the kind of advice or themes that come through from this book so that we understand the power of God's purpose in our lives. Thank you so much. And that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning into this vlog. Please don't forget to press that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for, guys? I'm sure you'll see the icon. I'll put it right here in the center so that it doesn't even close our faces with Nobuntu. It's ThroughEllesEyes, and if you would like to comment, I'll definitely engage with you guys. And if you want to know a little bit more about Perfect Mess, Perfect Grace, I'll give you the link in the comments, in the description box below, so that you can know where it's sold and how to access it. It's definitely a good read, and I think you should get it. Cheers!